You're That's it. Sorry. I almost have one done.
It's wonderful to see so many people here today. I love walking around shaking everybody's hand. Before we begin, because there's a lot of people I haven't met, why don't you just introduce yourselves to the people around you? Don't be shy. There's a lot of people I haven't met. It's very humbling. When I joined AOL, we had half the people that are in this room, and now this new business, we have people in our audience group literally participating all over the world. We have people in Tel Aviv, we have people out in Mountain View being hosted by Kerry, we have people in New York City hosted by Mike, Linda Clarizio is hosting everybody in Baltimore for advertising.com. And this is our first audience, All Hands. I wanted to make sure we were very profitable and having a good quarter before I invited everyone together, and we are. I also want to tell you that because we're a big public company, we can't share with you specifics of how well we're doing in the second quarter. Those numbers won't be released until August. So you'll have to read into body language, you'll have to read into enthusiasm, how we're doing, but the message to take away, and I think you'll hear it from all of the speakers today, is we're winning. And winning is what we are all about. Having growth is what we are all about. And so we want to take you on a tour of our company and what we're accomplishing as a group. On Friday, several of us worked at a AOL LLC offsite, and I was asked to champion a team, it was very collaborative, on what should the company's overall mission be. What would we propose as the right thing for our company to rally around? And I said, well, I know what our audience team's mission is, and that is to serve the world's largest and most engaged community. And service, being in service to something, I think is a very, very deeply held belief that I have, because I believe if you surrender yourself to your family, to your company, to your friends, to your fellow employees, to your customers, that you can accomplish great things. And there's nothing wrong with having an aspiration to be the biggest or the best, and if we have the most engagement, we will have the best. In 5 years, there will be 1 billion people online. 20% of them will be online here in the US. So our aspiration now has to be worldwide, looking out and being global. And I think you'll hear that in everything that we're doing. In fact, to show that, we have our new general manager, Panapa, would you stand up, from India, who just started this week. I'm in a shirt and tie today because I'm going to meet with some people from India tonight so that we can start this global journey together. So I am here to serve. I think that is a very, very important internal perspective for each of you to take on. In fact, when you leave today, if there's one thing that I want you to internalize, is that each of you matter. And 3 years ago, when I stood up in front of the company, I said we'd have a 3-stage turnaround, we'd stabilize our company, we would revitalize our company, and if we did that, we would have permission to reconceptualize our company, and we are doing that around our audience business. But it all comes down to the individual work and effort that each of us on the team does. When I joined AOL, we were on a march to 1 million, right? About 300 employees. And we had banners everywhere. And I would like our mission to be first one to 1 billion wins. I think that we should be synonymous with the interactive community, and that if we continue to execute, that we can win. And we must remember, we have competitors that are totally focused at one thing this way. Our company has been focused like this for many, many years. In the last year, we've turned like this. We can see, but we haven't moved totally. And it's why I'm totally optimistic, because we're killing it. We are winning on so many fronts, and we don't have everyone doing this. So I have a lot of experience in the company, and I know how powerful we as a collective group can be when we totally get in alignment. And I promised a year ago that if we started to execute well, we would have lots and lots of green arrows. The second quarter is a great quarter. The green arrows will be bigger and greener. And it gives us confidence now to start to talk about all of the things that we've been doing collectively. There was still skepticism that we had to answer as a company. Could we grow our uniques while our dial-up subscription business shrank? And the answer is yes. We are growing our uniques domestically. We are starting to grow our uniques on an international basis. So if we can maintain this kind of momentum and be one of the top 3 players in North America, and then translate that to every country that we enter, I believe we will be well positioned to grow our business. Can we grow our page views? When we did our plan last year, we were nervous because our page views were shrinking. We had a red arrow. I believe now all of those arrows on our page views are green. We have no more red arrows. We've answered that question. Our workout on the web is working, and the people that we are losing from our dial-up business are not our best customers. They are people that consume less of our service. We are not principals in search. We have a great partnership with Google, but we are principals in video and in video search. So Jerry Campbell and Mike Kelly and the whole team, Kevin Conroy and his team, they are trying to use video as a differentiator for us. You'll hear from Kevin specifically on what we're doing there, but we are killing it in video. The things that we are pushing forward, when you see our new uncut video program later in the demo, it's going really, really well, and video is a differentiator for our company. We're even growing our impressions. We are growing our impressions faster than we're growing our page views. Vitally important for our business model. We are seeing big deliverables as we go out to the web, and we're able to add some ad inventory. Mail. We launched a mail product and nobody thought anyone would use AIMail. In 1 year, we added more AIMail accounts than Google did with Gmail in their first year. And so our webmail products are fabulous. The AIMail product is great. And we all know that mail is the killer app on the internet. And I promise you we will be making massive investments to make sure that our mail continues to innovate and does very, very well as we move into Web 2.0-like applications. The question that we were all asking is, would the AOL brand be relevant in a broadband world? We launched AOL.com less than a year ago. 91% of the page views generated from that account are over broadband. And 45% of all of our visitors are now non-AOL members. A resounding answer of yes. So we are proving the skeptics wrong. Are we relevant to our advertisers? The answer is yes. We grew very, very fast in the first quarter, and we are killing it in the second quarter. My belief is that we can end up being one of the fastest growing of all of the companies in advertising and be a top 2 or 3 player in uniques, top 2 or 3 in page views, top 2 or 3 in overall growth. And how are we doing that? We've done great executional work in increasing the efficacy of the network. The analysts look at that as revenue per thousand, RPM. We passed Yahoo last quarter in RPM. It means our systems, it means the way we are executing is better than a competitor. Advertising.com, which I believe is the best acquisition that our company has ever made. A great gel team working very, very hard, not only to build their own business, but to add value to the overall AOL collective consciousness of how we look at problems, how we solve problems. The cross-germination of technology and ideas is really, really strong there. They have a huge network, and it is booming and growing. And our vision, our differentiation of being able to look at that page and decide what is in the best interest of both our partner and our company. On should we be putting a CPM ad? Should we be putting sponsored links? Should we put that inventory into the advertising.com third-party network? Should we be using that circulation to higher CPM areas? Should we upsell to an access product or a premium service product? That really is going to become a part of our magic. Because we must remember early on, AOL built a magic money machine. We could send out a bunch of discs and do a lot of advertising, get a certain percent to respond, and they would spend a certain amount of time with us, and it was very easy to model. And now Google and Yahoo have the magic money machines. And we are rapidly developing a replacement machine for our company where we can scale and grow billions and billions of dollars of new value by showing all of these arrows green, not only in North America, but around the world. Can we take share? And you have to remember that in any media-related kind of industry, scale matters and scale wins. And if you look at the top 4 advertising new media companies, Google, Yahoo, AOL, and Microsoft, we get 58% of all of the revenues that are spent. We'll soon be able to say we're a $2 billion-like enterprise. Once we're at that rate, we're not only a massive media company, but the number 5 player is in the $300 million range. So we're starting to really pull away from the rest of that pack. And I believe we will start to take share as advertisers move more and more of their dollars into this very comforting, accountable media business. And we are able to grow our bottom line. Think of the business model in our business as 0 to $1 billion is about 20–25% margin. That second billion, 1 billion to 2 billion, is 30 to 40% margin. And then once you get over $2 billion, you have a very profitable company. It's where Google and Yahoo are, and we can have a smaller revenue size company as AOL and make more money. And so this shift that is occurring in our company business model is because of our audience business and all of the great work that you have done. Now we've got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to be very self-critical because I look at what are the antes that we all have to look at within Web 2.0. And there's so much difference in Web 2.0 than what most of us grew up in. But the killer applications are still the same. 50% of Yahoo, 50% of Microsoft's page views and engagement come from mail. Mail is vitally important to us. We are doing a good job. We're going to double down in mail. The second major way that engagement happens is in messaging. I'm begging, asking, inspiring us to get back to doing a great AIM product. Our customers deserve it. It's 10 years old. We are going to redo these clients so that they're fast, so that they're of high quality, and so that our customers fall in love with using AIM again. ICQ, doing great. ICQ has been reinvigorated, really, really good, mature managers, active members are up, lots of partnering opportunities. The new client is really, really fast. Search is doing great, and obviously we have a good relationship with Google. Usually when someone emails you $1 billion, that is a good sign of how much they like you. And we have a great relationship with Google. The brand search queries are struggling as the AOL membership declines. Jerry, Mike, and his team are working very, very hard. The RPM is doing very good there, but we must launch and innovate in search. The new broadband search products that I know people around the world are working on is vital to our economic health, but also to the overall satisfaction as our users come and use all of our services and they use search as the way they navigate around. Video, as I said, doing very well. I'm very, very excited about what we're doing in video search and what we're going to do with our new video hub and our uncut video. Social networking, we invented it. It is our destiny. Plus we have AIM. So as AIM pages starts to go out there, and now we have 25,000 profiles, I expect us to add that daily. I would like to see Snap reports that start to show 20 to 25,000 new profiles added a day, because we've seen the power of community, not only intrinsically within AOL, but with what's happening on MySpace. Netscape, a shout out to the virtual team and Jason Kalkanis who built that. So I've told people, well, we're winning the debate. We don't know whether we've won the election yet, but they've done a great job. It's kind of a dig-like service, the hive mind, wisdom of crowds, voting the stories up to the top. Go check it out. It is a really hot new product, and people want Netscape to be successful. International, we are going to play to win there, going into India. We're looking at going into ad.com in Japan because it is a established market, and many of us have been spending a lot of time in China. I spent 3 weeks there. It is the future. If you take the United States economy, the India economy, and the Chinese economy, it represents 62% of the planet's gross national product in 2020. And so we have to stop looking inward and start looking externally. Publishing, I give as an incomplete. We still have a lot of work to do. It goes to my facing this way to totally looking that way. We've done great work, but everyone who's working on publishing know that what you're doing is the Lord's work. SEO and SEM, we're ahead of plan. I expect for us to be able to, no matter what the search term that I put in, I want to see AOL content or AOL members content first on that list. And improving the third-party network capabilities. Raven is a massive new project. We're very, very happy with how that's going. I give us a B, and we can be an A player. There is no reason we can't scale this business and win. You look at the uniques, the page views, the searches, the share of market, and I think we are very, very well positioned. Our big challenge is continuing to get away from member dependency and pushing out further and further to the web. So I hope I have set and established for you an overview of how we as a company are doing. What I'd like to do now is turn it over to my comrade Mike Kelly and his team at the New York Hilton in New York. We'll be able to watch Mike's presentation on our money store, see his slides, and then we'll bring Kevin and Jim up. We'll go to Kerry, and then we'll wrap it up with some questions. Thank you very much.
Outstanding programming that had been created by our programming organization, when made available, would attract audiences, and that's happening. We're developing network programming packages that are getting really significant click-through, higher and higher click-through. So from a programming perspective, free services, engagement, it's happening. And we're also seeing success by way of how we're working out the mechanics of being able to convert canceling members to this experience. So when you think of it through the lens of members, non-members, and canceling members, it's all working. If you believe that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, then we should pause for a minute and think about the fact that our most direct competitor has now launched a portal that looks remarkably like it's trying to be like AOL.com. But we can't stop here. We've got to keep in mind that we can't check a box, call it a win, and then move on to the next project. We have a long-term vision for AOL.com. We have a product plan with a series of releases. The next big release is at the end of the summer. Outstanding programming that had been created by our programming organization, when made available, would attract audiences, and that's happening. We're developing network programming packages that are getting really significant click-through, higher and higher click-through. So from a programming perspective, free services, engagement, it's happening. And we're also seeing success by way of how we're working out the mechanics of being able to convert canceling members to this experience. So when you think of it through the lens of members, non-members, and canceling members, it's all working. If you believe that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, then we should pause for a minute and think about the fact that our most direct competitor has now launched a portal that looks remarkably like it's trying to be like AOL.com. But we can't stop here. We've got to keep in mind that we can't check a box, call it a win, and then move on to the next project. We have a long-term vision for AOL.com. We have a product plan with a series of releases. The next big release is at the end of the summer that are getting really significant click-through, higher and higher click-through. So from a programming perspective, free services, engagement, it's happening. And we're also seeing success by way of how we're working out the mechanics of being able to convert canceling members to this experience. So when you think of it through the lens of members, non-members, and canceling members, it's all working. If you believe that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, then we should pause for a minute and think about the fact that our most direct competitor has now launched a portal that looks remarkably like it's trying to be like AOL.com. But we can't stop here. We've got to keep in mind that we can't check a box, call it a win, and then move on to the next project. We have a long-term vision for AOL.com. We have a product plan with a series of releases. The next big release is at the end of the summer, and there's a tremendous amount of innovation taking place. And I think as much as people have talked for a long time and made lots and lots of attempts at various forms of active and passive personalization, I think the future for AOL.com is at the heart of a more and more personalized experience. And so please look forward to future releases of AOL.com. It's living, it's breathing, and it's working. We're also I think, building audience by way of how we're innovating around core applications that are key to that portal experience. Ted talked about the success with webmail. I would also call out the success with pictures. These are really good products, highly competitive products that are engaging, that are sticky, that get registered users, and it's very notable that AIM-Mail has in its first year done better than Gmail did in its first year. So we are in a very good position from a product perspective. We have challenges by way of mail in the marketplace because the reality is that the vast number of people have established email accounts and are moving on to secondary email accounts. But we are in a very good position because we have great teams focused on innovating in these areas, and we will succeed. Everywhere we look, we see signs of the degree to which technology is changing the way people consume media. It has fast become an on-demand world. And whether you look at examples like iTunes or others, I would argue that this phenomenon is nowhere more prevalent than with the explosive growth occurring in the area of online video. And this is an area where we are definitely building audience, and we are definitely beginning to win. Our unique visitors are growing faster than the marketplace. Our streams are growing at a very large rate. And we're in a position where we believe we have the ingredients to launch a product this summer which will leapfrog our competition and take advantage of all of what we know is happening in the video marketplace. We want to be the best destination for video, whether it be promotional, licensed, original, user-generated, and a concept of branded VOD channels, similar to VOD channels that you might experience on cable. The idea of being able to make it possible for people to do all of that in one environment, an environment that is both immersive and distributable, and plant in the minds of the consumer that if it's out there, you'll find it here. We have an opportunity to leapfrog, and we have tremendous innovation taking place. Ted mentioned Uncut. Uncut is a great example of where we've seen a phenomenon occur in the marketplace with YouTube as an early entrant into that marketplace. The fact of the matter is that for those of you who haven't used it, Uncut is easier to use. It's real-time uploading. It has full device support, which YouTube doesn't have. And we're just beginning to establish ourselves here. In fact, if Bill's here, I would not be surprised if perhaps Ted's presentation is probably available right now live on Uncut. So please take a minute and check out this product because it's really quite something. And the notion of being able to combine programming sources with a new navigational paradigm in video search, with high quality playback, with the ability to support both in-stream advertising and pay to download, and be able to experience all of that on a PC, on a handheld device, or in a big screen format with partnerships like that which we're creating with Intel. So just think of this as a platform that's going to enable people to experience in one destination everything the best of the web, and if it's out there, you'll find it here. Beyond video, as you may know, there's been a tremendous amount of work, cross-functional. This has been an enormous team effort to really teach ourselves how to do search engine optimization. And this has really become, I think, part of the DNA of our company. And we're beginning to see real success. We established what we thought was an aggressive goal for ourselves in terms of page view generation through SEO. We are currently trending 21% ahead of forecast. I think also very notable is that 75% of those page views are from non-members. So this is an area where, by virtue of a tremendous number of people coming together with a common mission and a passion, and just figuring it out, because it's been a lot of hard work, we're really beginning to see material progress and success, and it feels good to be able to generate these kinds of page views organically. Our partnership with Google has two components. The first is search engine marketing. As a result of the work that was done over the course of the past year, we've established a model, really built a model that informs how we go about making money? What are the highest value areas of the network? And what we're now doing is applying the value of the SCM relationship that we have with Google directly to those areas. And so I think it's very, important. If you look at last week alone, 4 million clicks were generated into the network, and we're directing those clicks into the highest value areas of the network. We have 42 different channels that are being promoted on Google.com. The other area of the relationship calls for co-marketing. We have a commitment over the term of the relationship to a co-marketing fund, and we're working with Google to identify the most important initiatives in our company as it relates to the 6 objectives that Ted set out for us at the beginning of the year, and we're applying the co-marketing dollars to those objectives by way of building awareness for each of them, and then ultimately being able to get people to click through to those experiences. We're also building a new kind of marketing model, and please think of Gold Rush as a new kind of marketing model. On the one hand, we wanted to create an event which would cause the largest number of people to come into our network to be able to solve for clues that ultimately puts them in a position to win actual gold. So we have an event which really we will launch on September 13th, a hunt for actual gold. And so what will happen is, in partnership with CBS, we will be able to drive a tremendous number of impressions in the marketplace to drive people to AOL.com, to be able to go in and solve for clues within our network. We'll drive them again to the highest value areas of the network. We have, by way of our partnership with Mike Kelly's organization and specifically Janet Bayless, we've identified 4, possibly 5 sponsors, major sponsors who have category exclusivity partnering with us on Gold Rush. So this isn't a situation where we will have a tremendous event causing tremendous traffic to the network, and as we march to launch on September 13th, we will be profitable before we actually go to market. Beyond Gold Rush, we're looking at a wide range of distribution opportunities, ways that we can get our experience in front of users in entirely new ways. So for those who may not know, the first 2 big examples are areas where we've established AOL.com as a co-branded default homepage, first with Sony and most recently in a conversion over to for HP and for Compaq. We're seeing immediate gains in UVs and page views by way of these partnerships, and we expect that as early as next week, we may have yet another very significant new partnership to announce by way of a co-branded default homepage for AOL.com. Beyond AOL.com, we're focused on other ways in which to create distribution relationships, open AIM, as well as customized client partnerships for AIM, integrating AIM into a variety of different kinds of product applications. So we're really looking at development and innovation both internally and externally, as well as customized partnerships to more broadly distribute the AIM application. And this is a model that really extends throughout all of our efforts, because now as we've really embraced the notion of a distributed model, we're working in coordination with a programming organization and other parts of the product organization to identify all of the ways in which to be able to open up APIs, create an environment that is very developer friendly, to really give people a chance to innovate on top of the platforms that we create, so that we'll have innovation both internally and externally. We have a number of different module examples that range from work that we're doing with the video team to the various parts of the content organization. So really think of this as ways in which we can begin to take what have heretofore been immersive experiences and distribute these broadly in a vast number of partnerships, both direct to the user so that they can innovate, as well as to the development community. So with that, I'd like to hand to Jim Bankoff, and on a personal note, I'd like to just say that at this point it seems very clear that we have a tremendous amount of momentum, we're winning, and it's important that we all feel that that sense of winning.
Who wants to, around the country, globe, stretch out, get the blood pages, and AIM and all the other great things that we are working on as a group. I'm going to talk about what we have to do for our consumer. A lot of people ask, are we in the content business? Are we in the communication business? Well, we have a clear answer. When it comes to delivering values to consumers and ultimately to advertisers, we are in the engagement business, the user engagement business. Content, while we don't create it, is a means to an end. It is a catalyst to get people more engaged in these interactive behaviors that we're presenting and that you're all working on. There are other interactive catalysts as well. Mail is obviously the biggest one. Instant messaging is an enormous one. Search, video, etc. It all works together in an ecosystem where one behavior hands off to the next, and the ultimate outcome, how we measure ourselves, is how frequently is the consumer coming back to our services, and how many pages or level of engagement, time spent, pages consumed, how much of that is going on around the network. So we are in the engagement business. How do we go about doing that? Mike talked about the perfect page. Well, in the programming world, we think about the perfect page as well. And we're undergoing a big shift, an enormous shift. When you think about the days of programming Rayman pages, now to the days of programming big bold pages, we have a lot of manual work to do. Carrie's going to talk about the publishing program a little bit. Publishing program is geared toward making that work more automated so that our people who create pages can do the thinking about what engages people, as opposed to doing the manual work that machines should be doing and the actual physical linking and publishing of the pages. We want to free our people up to think about creating the most engaging experiences, and we want to do it dynamically. Every single page on AOL needs to be the best page on the web on that topic. Best page meaning the most engaging, the most informative, and the most interactive. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to get there. We need to lower our cost per page created via automation and via user-generated content. We need to leverage user-generated distribution as well, and that's what we talk about when we talk about Web 2.0 technologies. And ultimately, we need to leapfrog, and I'm 100% comfortable and confident that we're on a path to do that. So let me walk you through it a little bit. A few recent successes to demonstrate where we're going. A couple that are done, just recently launched, in fact, this past month. One is TMZ, another is Netscape. I can also point to Blogging Stocks and a number of other experiences. What these have in common is that they leverage a few engagement or Web 2.0 principles to make their services that much more powerful. In the context of Netscape, you've probably seen it, as Ted said, it's the hive mentality. It leverages users to program the portal. TMZ says something different. TMZ leverages Warner Brothers content creation, but AOL's know-how in interactive programming to create communities. A story on Britney is posted, and within 24 hours, there are probably about 700 comments for every posting on Britney. Think of that, a ratio of 700 to 1. That's going to help us not only reduce our cost structure, but most importantly, get more pages, get people more engaged, make them feel more associated with our brands. And it's paying off so far. It's paying off in page views, and it's paying off in uniques. And in terms of successes, another green arrow has been the success in the growth of what we call the content category in terms of page views growth across our service. AOL News, another recent success story. AOL News is already beginning to atomize their content. That's to say, to come up with little chunks of interactive widgets that can be displayed across their service. In effect, they've created a second welcome screen by taking every article page and cross-promoting, recirculating, and engaging consumers in new interactive franchises, whether it's the Feed, the Cooler, the Daily Pulse. These are new franchises, new modules that are created, distributed via AOL News, ultimately distributed across the web, and the results speak for themselves. Page view growth of over 66% last quarter, and month-to-month growth that is accelerating and beating the competition as well. So we know how to create these experiences. Automation, user-generated content will help us grow even faster. It's not just about user-generated content. That's getting a lot of play as well as it should. We're investing in user-generated content tools. But user-generated distribution is really what Web 2.0 is about. Kevin walked you through some of our formal partnerships around distribution, and his team is leading those efforts to make sure that we're distributed across OEMs and with major and small partners as well. It has to be more than that. We have to go down to the long tail of distribution. We have to get each one of our consumers distributing our products for us, whether that means linking from their blogs, linking in their RSS readers, SEO, which I know many people are focused on, emailing, sharing, opening up our services via APIs so that people can distribute widgets and build widgets for us. This is the new way of the world. This is the revolution that is already taking place on our pages, but needs to be accelerated. And we need the technology platforms that are being developed to help us accelerate them. But more importantly, we need the mindset that this is the way that the world and the web works now. If you combine what we have been doing, which I call top-down programming, creating these great programs, these great franchises with an outstanding perspective, combine that with this new Web 2.0 movement of the bottoms up, of user empowerment and user enabling of engagement, that's the most powerful combination, and there's no one who can match that right now. Some people do the machines well, some people do the edit side well, no one puts it all together. And we're going to. So here's an example. This I call the perfect page. This happens to be an R&B artist, and it's a page about him. It has fans of him, it has pictures of him, it has songs by him. They come from our services, they come from services that may be competitors, they come from services that users create and can get put on this page based solely on what is most relevant and what's going to create the best experience. And while I happen to be showing you a music page, I could just as easily be showing you a page on the New York Yankees, a page on a stomach virus, a page on, I think of that because my little daughter just had one, so it would have been good to have a perfect page on the stomach virus. But the idea is creating the best possible page for any given topic for that person at that time. Personalization, grabbing the best modules from around the web and serving them up along with the right advertising to the consumer. Here's a real-life example that we are going to demonstrate. Day in the life of AOL. This is what our new vision is. So user clicks on tags that have been delivered just for them. They click on the Iraq tag. They go to an Iraq channel, a channel that has been created by a machine on the fly, pulling modules that are most relevant to Iraq. Think of having a million different channels on AOL, all created dynamically from the long tail, grabbing from our content, partner content, and user content. Users can then create their own pages as well by uploading their stuff via Uncut, AOL Pictures, or any third-party service, compiling it on an AIM page, making it available for distribution not only on our service, but on competitive services as well. This modular format will allow us to distribute content elsewhere. People can snag it just like we can snag our competitors and put them on our page if that's what's most relevant. We're going to leverage our large distributed base of the buddy list as an alert system to alert your friends when you've published something new or to be alerted when they've published something new. That connects, again, the idea of publishing with the idea of communication and this real-time dashboard that we have on our desktop called the buddy list. And then our editors step in to create a select number of franchises because they are the best in what they do in engaging the audience, knowing what the conversation should be, and ordering up modules based on what they think is going to activate the largest amount of audience. So in this case, they do an interactive poll mashed up with a MapQuest API. Together you can see where what various opinions on the war are across the country. So what's next? How do we get to this vision that we just described? Well, already there are a lot of things underway. I don't have time to show them all to you today, whether it's the next version of AOL Music, AOL Food, or AOL Movie Phone, AIM Today, all of which are going to embrace these values that we're talking about. Dynamically created pages, user-created pages, and program pages to create a very differentiated experience. KOL is going onto the web. We're aggressively launching new blogging networks. We're going to launch new services that are all about this mixture, including comedy, action, sports, and a partnership with Warner Brothers and a large advertising firm. We are going to roll out new tools to help you accomplish this that Kerry is going to get into, but they're focused on three things. One, a better experience for consumers and for advertisers. Two, reducing workflow so that humans can focus on the hard work and machines can do the rote work. And three, making sure that everything on our service is snaggable and syndicatable so that we can leverage viral distribution. When we do this, we're going to grow the engagement index, we're going to blow it out in terms of page views, and once again, AOL.com and AOL will capture that innovation mantle that we have worked so hard to cultivate. It's right there within our grasp. I echo the sentiments that everyone talked about, Kevin, Mike, and Ted, and that Kerry will share with you. We are creating a next generation programming portal. We're now going to have tools at our disposal to get it done. We already have the people. So with that, I'm going to introduce Mountain View, my old home, and Kerry O'Rourke should be here to talk to us once we get her mic'd up and get the satellite in. So thank you for your time. And Kerry, I'm going to hand off to you.